Hello everyone, hopefully this is working. Oh, I have sound, yay! Everything is working all right, woohoo! Here we go. So let me pull up my restream chats. I didn't have a teaser trailer for this one, so that's just always kind of just, what do you do? But hey, that's how it is sometimes. All right. I'm going to make certain I'm live everywhere because it's just me sometimes, so hard to do and get done. So, yeah, I'm live there. Let's go to here, post here. Sharing there. How are you guys? Hello, everyone. Oh, Shane, I meant to give you a wrench. I'll give you a wrench, I promise. It's been a busy week. It's been a very busy week, so it's been just a very hectic week. I didn't even get a trailer that I would normally get going, and it's just normally I have like my trailers done and I do all kinds of stuff like that, but it's like it's been a hectic week. I did a talk for a school district about using technology in their classrooms, so that was pretty cool. So I'm making certain I'm live everywhere and doing my thing. You can't stay long. Oh, you're heading up north. Oh, goodness. So today, hello, everyone. So today, the topic that won this week was keto nutrition, so dieting. Ooh, diets. Yuck. People don't like diets, Dieting is just such an ugly word for some people. Hello, Andy. Hello, Hempel. Hello, Steven. So dieting is such an ugly word, but what are the facts about diets? What's the facts about keto, low carb, low fat, all of these different things? And so I have good news and bad news about dieting. So let's go ahead and get started. Whee! So that was my intro from Peter. Gonna go for it. He's working on my new intro for my new show called This Week in BS with Katie Paulson, and that's gonna be This Week in Bad Science. So hopefully once I get my intro down, we can go ahead and start having shows. That's gonna be on Thursdays. I'm thinking about doing a new show, guys, called Science Sunday School. I did a couple episodes piloted on my Patreon account for patrons. So I'm thinking about doing something called Science Sunday School where we talk about the latest and greatest in science, and then we'll have This Week in BS Bad Science with Katie Paulson from Pathos. So we're working on that. So there you go. So I'm going to tell you guys, good morning, everyone. Hold on. Where is the chat? Is the chat not on here? I don't know where my chat is. Where is the chat on this? This isn't right. I don't know how my chat is normally right here. And it's not here at the moment. What a pain in the butt. Normally my chat pops up here and it's not here right now. So I don't quite understand why it's not there at the moment. This is really, really weird. And so the thing that's really kind of irritating is that the thing that's kind of irritating about this is that essentially it just popped up that, let's see, that's got that, where's the chat? It should be showing up right there. Let me see if I can fix this. Okay, let me see. Here we go. Let's see. Refresh. Embed chat and stream. Okay, so copy. Let me see if I can fix the chat. There it goes, right? There we go. It's fixed now. Yay, things are fixed. Fixed things are fixed. Fixed things are fixed now. Yay. Good news, everyone. We fixed the chat. All right. So let me go back and look at a few of these questions. Good morning, Doc and Brianna and Jen and Ray Ray. How you guys doing? Hey, Bo and Andy are Patreon supporters, so thank you. Mark is here. Noxious, is it noxious or noxious? I don't know if I'm saying that right, and I'm probably not, so I'm gonna apologize. So the keto diet, somebody's like, okay, you don't want to work, you have a Monday off. Dieting is icky. You lost 75 pounds on your keto diet. That's cool. Binge dieting doesn't work long term. If you can change your long term diet, it does work though. That's true. You stopped smoking, gave 35 pounds. Oh goodness. Intermittent fasting, I can talk a bit about that. I do have some information on it. It's not on like my inside with my sources, but there are some things that are associated that are positive with intermittent fasting, like every couple days doing that, like less than 500 calories. There is some science that shows, let's see, you get skip frames detected 71% 2 minutes ago. So 2 minutes ago it was bad. But it's not now, so that's all right. Okay, we got it fixed here. We fixed everything. Yay, you didn't miss this week. My frame rate was probably bad because I was trying to fix the chat. Oh, goodness. I know, Shane. I didn't get your wrench yet, but I will. I promise. Hey, Keith. Hello, everyone. So, there we go. Okay. All right. So let's talk a bit about what this keto stuff is. So essentially what we're looking at is low carb, low fat, weight loss. We're going to talk about a bit of these things today. It's like, what do we do with this? There's so much different conflicting evidence. That's probably the biggest issue that I'm finding when it comes to a lot of what's going on here when we're talking about diet and nutrition and things like that. Diets are essentially a massive, big billion-dollar business, and they have been for a long time. But what actually works? Studies are problematic, so we'll get into some of these studies, some of the studies where you have different types of issues, monitoring food intake, different body types, you have genetics, you have exercise, but what I'm going to talk about is primarily what it takes to lose weight and what science says about what the new evidence is in regard to keto, which is low carb, but it's high protein and high fat. And then you have low fat and you know, more carbs. And there's some studies that show that carbohydrates are linked to longer life. And then it's a whole honking mess is what I'm trying to say to you, my science lovers. It's a big mess. And so let's talk a little bit about what science says is a problem with keto. There are some studies that link the keto diet to type 2 diabetes. But you know, carbohydrate diets are also linked to type 2 diabetes. There are some concerns with cardiovascular issues with the keto diet. And long-term use is really hard. Long-term use is exceedingly difficult in the keto diet because you have to almost practically eliminate carbohydrate sources outside of what you would find in protein. So the keto diet essentially is where your energy is primarily based on ketones. It's an organic type of molecule that's found primarily in fats and heavy meats like red meat. And so your body, since it's having a lack of its normal type of molecule, which would be glucose, which is a carbohydrate, that's kind of what the body uses primarily in order to generate ATP. ATP is our adenosine triphosphate. That's essentially what our cellular currency is for energy. And so glucose is converted to pyruvate, and then it can undergo in different types of biochemical reactions and cycles, including what we call the citric acid cycle. And then we also have cellular metabolism in the form of aerobic respiration, which is what our mitochondria get involved with as well. So we have all of these different ways that we can process energy, and almost all of them fundamentally are associated with glucose, carbohydrates, sugar. It's very difficult. And it requires more energy to a degree, if you have to go and switch your body to ketones, and that being, but it can convert ketones to carbohydrates and thus use them that way. So that's one of the possible reasons why ketone diets are, I'm feeling better this week. Thank you. Throat thing is almost gone. Yay. It's freaking allergies. It stinks, but it's been a very hectic week. So your body is being pushed to take ketones that are stored, that we see primarily in fat, as well as different types of proteins like red meats, and convert those into, glucose molecules to be used in the various biochemical pathways of the body to generate energy and to basically fundamentally put together adenosine triphosphate, ATP, which is, as I said before, the way that our cells process energy, by popping off a phosphate and putting it back on. It takes carbohydrates to do that. Hello, Mrs. Snarky. Hello, everyone. So there's a lot of different conflicting things that we got to talk about when we're talking about this. So we've talked about the ketogenic diet being linked to type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular issues. Well, guess what? Guess what science says? So not only does science say that, science also says that ketogenic diets decrease type 2 diabetes and decrease cardiovascular issues. And it's also an epilepsy treatment. So science is conflicting on whether or not this is actually good for people. And they are curious about whether or not the ketogenic diet, since it helps treat epilepsy to reduce seizures, there needs to be more studies associated with the keto diet to see if it can also help diseases such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. So type 1 diabetes, ketones are a bad thing for type 1 diabetes. Well, type 2 diabetes, carbohydrates also contribute to that. So it's kind of weird because there's conflicting studies. And so it's like, what the heck is going on? I'm assuming the body doesn't convert ketones very efficiently, though. It's not very efficient to my knowledge. And it requires a bit more energy, in order to do that, because instead of just naturally breaking down glucose and changing it into pyruvate and it undergoing all of the different things, because that's what your enzymes customarily do, it's being forced to take ketones and then convert it to glucose and then converting it to pyruvate. Yes, you can feel pretty down with the keto diet. There are different studies, and this is pretty interesting. One thing that I think that people do not take into consideration is that food can very much be addictive. And it's addictive in one of the worst possible ways. It's addictive in that your body actually needs food. It actually does need food, and you can crave specific things. And so chocolate actually can fire off the opioid receptors in your brain. So when you're eating chocolate, you get that. Some people actually get a euphoric state from eating certain types of foods, including carbohydrates, certain types of processed nacho cheese. I feel like I'm one of those people because I decided just after I watched that film, Super Size Me, and I decided I'm going to just cut all the Taco Bell out. And I decided to just like cut the fast food out for a while just to see how I would feel once I started eating certain foods again. And then I got like the nachos that Taco Bell has, and I started eating it, and I just felt like the waves just hit all over me. I'm like, oh my gosh. And another interesting study that was done was people who are considered chocoholics, people who are addicted to chocolate. They actually could eat the chocolate. There was a study. I have to see if I can find it. I didn't put it in my slides at the end, but I know it exists because it's there. They had the person who was conducting the study. I've seen a documentary with him in it. They gave the drug that they give heroin addicts who have overdosed. They gave a certain dosage of the drug that they give heroin addicts who have overdosed to stop those opioid receptors from firing off, putting them into that state. They gave it to people who are what they consider addicted to chocolate. They wanted no chocolate at all. They weren't getting the high that they normally get. And we know that there are addictive qualities within food. And so it's like when you're eating certain types of foods, you can have an emotional addiction. You can have a physical addiction. But unlike cocaine or heroin or things like that, cutting out food when you have an inherent biological need for it, if you're also like emotionally addicted and you're physically addicted in various ways to where you get those rewards receptors firing off, you know, it's very much a hard thing to do. So, and I'm not knocking people. I want to make it plain. I am not body shaming anybody. It is absolutely a-okay if you are happy with how you are and everything going on with you. I'm happy for you. So let me preempt anything that I say, that just because a person is overweight and or considered clinically obese does not mean that they're unhealthy. Okay? You can be obese and have great, a great heart. You can be active. You can have wonderful respiration. You can have great blood pressure. You can be disease free. So I want to preempt anything that I say, that being obese does not mean you are unhealthy. Okay, so let me say that before I continue, because I am not about to body shame anybody, because you can be overweight and or obese and be completely healthy. It is entirely a personal decision, and something that's you and your doctor. And there are some doctors who fat shame. So I will say that there are some doctors who fat shame, and that is wrong. Doctors do not fat shame. If your patient's heart rate is fine and their blood pressure is fine and they're walking around and they're mentally sound and everything's great, leave them alone. There are some risks. There are some risks associated with being a person of size, but you know that, and it is your choice. And if you know your family's history and what the genetic predispositions are, as long as you understand, what your environmental triggers are, and that's kind of where I'm going to get at with this talk. If you know your body, you are in charge of your body. So, if you're wanting to change your body shape, that is your decision, and it is entirely up to you, and it's not society's decision to press that upon you. So, find a doctor. If you need to find a doctor, and if you want to lose weight because you want to change your body shape, that is up to you. If your doctor tells you to lose weight because you have high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes is linked to a lot of awful things. If you're getting to where it's a health concern, that's something different, and it is your business and your doctor's business and nobody else's. So I'm just going to say that. So there are genetic predispositions. So essentially, what I'm going to talk about is essentially the studies that conflict. So as I mentioned before, with keto and all of that, there is conflicting evidence on both sides about whether or not it causes type 2 diabetes or it causes cardiovascular disease. But here's the problem that we have with diet and nutrition studies. There's the problem that we have with that. The studies are pretty useless if heavy monitoring of food is not a part of the experimental plan. Most studies cannot afford or even have participants who can be in a facility for 24 weeks or more of heavily monitored eating and exercise without volunteers potentially losing their jobs because of not being able to go to work. So a lot of the diet and nutrition studies are problematic in that they're not heavily controlled. I mean, they're just not. They have their control group, but they're not sitting there feeding food to the person. They're not heavily regulating it. A lot of this requires people to be able to sit down and be stuck on and be like completely dedicated to writing out everything they put in their mouth. So it's like, in some of the studies that I've seen, and they've done meta-analyses to show essentially that if you are on any kind of diet plan, that is going to be the most effective, as if you are on any kind of diet plan at all. And it doesn't matter so much about what it is. If you're monitoring your intake, if you're exercising, whether it's keto or, low fat, low carb, they find that people who are just on some kind of plan and are actively looking and measuring things, then they're more successful than people who aren't. That's essentially it. If you're trying, you're going to be more successful than people who aren't trying. That's essentially what all the studies say on weight loss, everything that I have seen. So it's like the nutrition and diet type of studies, in my opinion, because we have human error, you have the food addiction. If you're dealing with people who are obese, their bodies are going to fight them the entire time because this is what their bodies are used to. And so you're having to force your body to accept new terms that it doesn't want to really agree with. So if you're used to eating certain things, just like when you normally, after a while, people who exercise, and even if you're exercising, after a while, a certain type of exercise is no longer beneficial for you. So if you're a runner and all you do is run, your body gets used to that. And it starts, and there's studies that support this, to where your body will become more efficient at burning calories. So you actually won't lose weight. After a while, your body's like, hey, we're running again. We know how to do this. That's why a lot of the studies and a lot of science and doctors encourage you to change up your exercise to where you're constantly shifting your body into a different situation in order to continue to build muscle and, maintain cardiovascular effects. So I'm going to catch up on some questions here. You're strongly considering Atkins or South Beach diets. Here's what it comes down to. Okay, so what it comes down to is what can you live with for the rest of your life? That's what it comes down to. Can you live with never having carbohydrates ever again? Can you live with never eating bread ever again? Because that's what the keto diet is. Okay, so what has worked for me personally, and see, this is me personally. I know what my body's like. The big craving beating experiment. Okay, I'm not certain if that's a documentary I was talking about. It's been years since I watched a documentary. So I'm not certain. But the thing that's worked for me is high protein, low fat, minimal carbohydrates. That's worked for me, but it's lean meat because and this is why I chose, and I still kind of continue to choose that path for me. It's been effective for me because Alzheimer's runs in my family. Heart attacks run in my family. Stroke runs in my family. I can't, knowing what I know about what goes on with my family, I can't possibly eat steaks every day, bacon, and lots of oil. I've tried that, and it makes me violently ill. Not only that, that type of diet is also linked to stroke, heart attack, and, high blood pressure. Those all run in my family. So I'm fairly certain I have genetic precursors for that. I haven't taken a gene test, but since I know my mom has heart problems, my grandfather has had strokes and heart problems, my grandma's had strokes. On my grandma's side, they have Alzheimer's. I don't want to contribute to that. So what I do for me, protein makes me full. I tried vegetarian for a while, straight out vegetarian. Gained so much weight because I ate so many carbohydrates. So you have to just know your genetic history based on your family. You have to know what the risk factors are for your health. That requires you knowing your genetic history of your family, what runs in your family, cancer, diabetes, you have to know how your body works. Metabolism's important, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Hey, GI. So, okay, Mrs. Snarky, about a gene test, I will caution you about this. Opt out for them to store your genetic information. 23andMe, they just sold a lot of their customers' genetic information to a pharmaceutical company for research. And so whatever drug that pharmaceutical company or whatever test they make for their research, none of those people that paid 23andMe are going to get any money back for their information being used. So be careful about that. So I'm going to try to catch up on, I got lots of messages here. You guys are rocking today. I love this. So let's see. Aren't ketones bad for type 1 diabetes? I'm not certain, but I've heard somebody else has got a family member who's told ketones are bad for that, for type 1. Somebody, so you get euphoric when you watch ScientistMel. Oh my goodness, Gerald, that's sweet. Fall time is when the body craves carbs. Yes, I want to eat all of the carbs and hibernate like a bear, but I'm not a bear. Huh. Supersize Me is a terrible doc. It is, but I do like it because it does kind of expose the what's blatantly obvious to a lot of people, just how horrible fast food is for you. But at least it's mainstream, so it helped raise awareness just how awful Mickey D's is. I don't eat there. I never eat there. I had a family member recently on who was in high school go on a choir trip, and they went to go sing at an old folks home or something and so they were eating lunch out and they went to McDonald's. This kid didn't know how to order at McDonald's because their parents are so, they just don't take their kid to fast food restaurants. And so the kid sitting there went up to the choir teacher later and said, "How do I tip the waitress?" Now, I understand that that's a sign of privilege, and it is an utter privilege to not have to eat at McDonald's because McDonald's is extremely inexpensive. And when you're struggling and you have to feed your family, that's an option to keep your kids from going hungry. So I understand that. So I'm going to say that. But it's like that kid didn't know how to order at McDonald's, which is a privilege. And I was just on Twitter a little bit ago, and I want to let you guys know I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I came from a single parent home, and we often ate at McDonald's because we were broke. We couldn't afford good food. We couldn't afford a lot of the healthy stuff because it's expensive. And so my mother was a single mom, raising 3 kids. My dad paid $300 a month in child support. That's it, $300 a month. I was charged pretty much with making certain I made dinner while my mom worked. We often had fish sticks and macaroni and cheese and French fries. That was common. Sometimes we had fruit in the house. My mom did the best she could. But that was chicken nuggets and fish sticks and French fries and macaroni and cheese. That's inexpensive. And so that made certain we weren't going to go hungry. So she did the best she could with what she had. So it is a privilege to not have to eat bad food, non-nutritional food. I'll say non-nutritious food. So, so I get it. I completely get it. But I thought that was funny, and it's weird. It's weird for me to hear that because we grew up, all 3 of her children ended up being educated. And yes, I have a giant student loan, and somebody's going, well, didn't you know what you were getting into? I'm like, I didn't have any other choice. I had no other choice outside of just having some grants. But you can't live very well as a college student. And we didn't have money to send me to college. So I didn't have any other choice. There was no other option for me to go to college other than to pay for it myself. I didn't go to a fancy private high school. I did the best that I could. And I had teachers that didn't want to work with me because I'm a girl. I had an English teacher tell me that, I would be too stupid to be a nurse. She was an English teacher. So, so it's the life story's different there. And so it's not just, well, you knew what you were getting into. So I always find it interesting how different my life is now than when it was when I was growing up. I'm able to afford nutritious food because I have a white collar job, and I'm educated now. I mean, but yeah, I have a giant student loan. Probably be paying it till I die, but I'm able to, I can afford the privilege of having nutritious food, and a lot of people can't. And that's something else that we need to address, especially with doctors fat shaming. You know what? No. Help your patients gain access to nutritious foods. So I'm catching up on, now I got to catch up on messages. I'm getting there, guys. I'm scrolling through. Here we go. Oh, man. Pasta, rice, brown potatoes, ramen, eggs. Yes. So we're going through. Yeah, I know, Mrs. Snarky, man. It's like bodies are so different. I'm glad you have a doctor that helps you. So it's like, and Jen has she's obese, but her blood pressure's awesome. No symptom of diabetes. Then you're healthy, man. Keep going. Keto acids. Man. Keto acids are a thing. Let me see if I can get into that. BMI is not a great way to measure things. BMI was initially made to help diagnose malnutrition in underweight people, not overweight people. My buddy, ketoacidosis. Yes, participants on the studies would have to be monitored the whole time. Let's see. It does, because it seems like all diets work, but they don't. All diets don't work. It comes down to what works for you. And Jen's considering Atkins or South Beach. So it needs to come down to what you can live with for the rest of your life. What are you willing to change? Hello, GI. Let me see. We're talking about it. Good oils seem better for me. I like good oils. Olive oil, I do like olive oil. I prefer using that over any other oil. I haven't looked in coconut oil, but I hear it's not very good for you. From what I've been hearing, some doctors are saying the jury's out with me on that. It's good for my hair. Oh my goodness, tuna. I like tuna. I eat a lot of tuna. Oh, let's see. Ancestry.com is the Mormon church. Oh goodness. I do like bread and sugar. Bye, Andy. Thanks for stopping by. I'm still catching up. Well, supersize for you only shows forcing yourself to eat too many calories is bad. Yes, but that's the thing. A lot of people, and what I found was interesting is at the end, they did show that a lot of McDonald's food doesn't naturally break down, and that's kind of weird and a little bit scary. So dollar menu rocks. Okay, I think I'm almost caught up. There are also food deserts. Yeah, there are lots of food deserts. And so if you don't have access to fresh fruits and stuff, if you go to a convenience store, if you're on food stamps and you go to a convenience store, the last thing you're going to do is buy fresh vegetables there. First of all, sometimes they're not so fresh. And secondly, they're ridiculously expensive. Subway, they do seem to also have healthy food. I do like Subway. I don't like the fat shaming that they do, but I do like Subway as a healthy option, and I've eaten there many times, so I do like that. There is a lot of salt and processed meats. It depends on what kind of meat you get at Subway. I like their chicken, like their grilled chicken. I tend to do that, or I eat a lot of their salads. I tend to just get like a big old salad, and I'll put like the chicken in there, and that's good. Oh, thank you. Getting to where you are from humble beginnings. Yes, my house that I grew up in could fit inside the house that I have now. I think my living room all the way to my garage. So like the house I grew up in could fit inside the house that I'm in now. So it's like, I'm amazing. You guys are too sweet. The stuff I overcome. Man, it's either like, hey, Tatted Atheist, is he like sink or swim in this world, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Tax-funded education is wonderful. Yeah, man, I don't hate Bo. I mean, it's just, you would think education would be so important because it's what causes society to move forward. I mean, learning about each other in the world causes us to be better, I would think. Oh, goodness. Oh, congestive heart failure, fake knee, hips, knees. Oh, okay. I hear you, Jen. Okay, near zero ETOH, so okay. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting white. You guys are so funny. I'm finally caught up on the messages, I think. I like y'all to do, please. Oh, goodness. I guess we should carry on with the talk, man. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about, let's see. I'm going to talk a bit about genetics, metabolism, thermodynamics, and knowing your body. So, I've mentioned a little bit of this anyway. Hello. Slap chop. Little snarky. Hi. So, Subway in Denmark has the best french fries? That's weird. We don't have french fries at our Subways here. You literally grew up in a bathroom, a garage with a bathroom, family of 4. Wow. Good morning. So I'm going to talk a bit about genetics, metabolism, thermodynamics, and knowing your body. So it's really important that when you're going through and you're trying to take into consideration which diet works best for you. There's some other things you need to think about when you're doing this. Environmental triggers are a thing. Environmental triggers can turn on or turn off genes. That's something some people don't understand. So there's a lot of overlap here. Thermodynamics, you have to burn more calories than you take in. That's just how it works. And so metabolism can play a role in that. Starvation mode is a thing, and exercise can help. So, have I recovered from my cold? I have. I would marry Mel. Oh my God, did I hit send? You hit send! And you can't delete it like right now. Not like with the Facebook messages. Facebook says you can delete a message now in about 10 minutes. So genetics. A lot of your metabolism is based on genetics. And there is a fat gene. And so if you have this particular gene, it makes you prone to be, hungry longer. and hungry more often. And it also, it doesn't work so well with turning off, you know, the hunger. So normally when you reach a certain point when you're eating, it triggers your brain to say, okay, we're full now, we need to stop, just to stop being hungry. And so for some people that isn't functioning so well. It doesn't work just like others, and so that can lead to overeating. So there's genetics associated with that. Metabolism, high versus low, again, this is a genetic thing, how quickly you burn calories. And there's some studies that show people who tend to be lean are constantly moving, and they're like more active, so they might be fidgety, you know, and just doing a little bit of extra things rather than just sitting still, you know, moving back and forth. So they're burning more calories in that way. And it can stack up to 100 or 2 calories a day. So that's a thing. Maybe fidget more. I don't know. Environmental triggers are a thing too. And it's hard. It's hard to turn off specific genes once they're turned on. And it's hard to shift. So the environment does play a role on gene regulation. And we don't know a lot about that when it comes to what we eat and how it affects metabolism. Starvation mode is a thing. If you start starving yourself and you don't, and your body will recognize that, and it will lower your basal metabolic rate. So if your basal metabolic rate is normally 1,500 calories a day, that's the minimum it takes for your body to survive. So if you start starving yourself, it'll drop it down a bit. So there are studies to show that that is a thing that happens. So if you go into starvation mode and then your basal metabolic rate drops a little bit, then that means when you do start to eat again, your body's trying to conserve. It's like, well, maybe we don't need that many calories to survive. Let's just drop it down a little bit. The longer you go with that, the worse it gets. Now, intermittent fasting isn't so bad. There are some studies that show that if you eat 500 calories or less for a couple days at a time, you know, like maybe 1 or 2 days a week, it does promote like a good immune response, because some of your cells kind of die off, the older ones, and so it replenishes a lot of the older cells. There's some link to this in boosting the immune system, to where your immune system starts to make new cells to kind of go and investigate. So there are some studies that show that there's some positive, but it's not like 3 days in a row. It's like 1 or 2 days in a row, and just, you know, once a week. That's it. It's not like constantly eating nothing but 500 or 400 less than 500 calories a day for an entire week. So other studies have shown that crash diets can be better than going it the slow way, but that's only for a short period of time. About 70% of people who go on any kind of diet gain, well, oh no, not 70% of people who tend to go on diets, a big majority of them gain back as much as 70% of the weight they lost. And so the take home thing for this is you have to be willing to change it forever. You can't just say, okay, I lost my weight and stop now. You have to be able to change your perception and what you do forever. Gene guns and shoot some genes. I wish we could turn off our extra fat storing gene. Okay. So there are people, well, I'm not saying that people can't lose weight eating McDonald's. If all they did is eat a burger and fries every single day and that's all they ate, of course they'll lose weight. Just like you could go on the Snicker bar diet and just eat like a Snickers twice a day and nothing else. Of course you're going to lose weight. It's not high quality nutrition though. And so I would recommend eating a multivitamin along with that, because you're not going to get all of the nutrition that you need. Of course you can lose weight eating McDonald's if you just had a burger and fries every day. I mean, that like a Big Mac meal, a Big Mac by itself is like 1,000 calories. So if you just ate a Big Mac every day, you probably would still lose weight because it's 1,000 calories. I mean, that's what it comes down to, you know, burning more than what you take in. Your microbiome can affect your weight as well. So your gut bacteria can affect your metabolism. Hey, Geek Room. You're about to have a Peter Pan and jelly sandwich. I love peanut butter. Good morning, everyone. Poo transplants, it's a thing, yeah? For transferring microbiomes, it certainly is. Today is beans and rice day. Just chilling. Kitties. What's the difference between jam and jelly? Jam is preserves, actual fruit preserves. Jelly is more like Jello. It's like fruit-flavored Jello. Jam actually has fruit in it. So easy to get caught up in a diet that's making you lose weight, but then your body readjusts. It does. You have to constantly change. I gained probably 15, 20 pounds at my last job. Stress is a thing. Stress is a thing. So now I'm having to go back through and force my body to accept the new terms that I'm trying to put on it. And it's like, no! And it's fighting me tooth and nail, and it's terrible. Your son is on keto to help with seizures, but we have to give him vitamins and everything else to make sure it's balanced things. Yeah, no. So the Geek Room, yeah, they need more studies because there are studies that are associated, and they're showing that the ketogenic diet is fantastic for people with epilepsy. And I had mentioned before, they need studies to see if there's any benefits for that for like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and other, neuro types of diseases. Hello, Wonder Lady. When yo-yo dieting, can you talk about the accumulation of junior plaque when your weight is fluctuating? I don't know what junior plaque is. I haven't heard that term before. Fluctuating weight, a lot of that can be water. So it's really important that you maintain solid water intake while you're going through and dieting. Also, reduction of alcohol can be a thing because there is linked to increased alcohol consumption and fat storage. Also, if you're doing the low-carb thing, there's certain types of alcohols that don't have carbohydrates, but the alcohol is burned right away and not really stored. I think vodka is one of those. I think whiskey is another. So, honestly, everything in moderation is probably the best way to go. But studies do show being on a plan is better than not being on a plan. And my personal thought on that is if you're actively watching what it is that you're intaking, you're more likely to be a bit more accurate in what you're intaking and what you're burning, because that's what it comes down to. And it also comes down to what can you live with for the rest of your life. Can you live with eating like bacon and steak and oils like that for the rest of your life? Or, for me, high protein, lower carbs, and also lower fat. I cannot eat a lot of fat. I get violently ill. It just does not work for me. It's horrible. So if I eat carbs, they tend to be straight out of the ground, like oatmeal. I avoid processed foods. I try to avoid as many processed foods as possible. I do like crackers every now and then. You like the cheese crackers or something. And I do like rice cakes. I try to eat frozen vegetables or fresh vegetables, not canned. I do like tortilla chips, but if I do eat carbs, they're minimally processed. And if I do have bread or anything like that, it is lower carb type of bread. But I try to restrict my carbohydrates to very low simple sugar. I'd rather have more complex carbohydrates. So very low simple sugars, more complex carbohydrates, but few carbs overall. But that's what I'm looking at. I made a bad on the Subway French fries. It was actually Sunset Boulevard. Hello, I'm checking my messages now. Intermittent fasting helped me a lot to keep my weight constant. It used to fluctuate a lot. Well, I'm glad that works. I've thought about trying that myself to see how it happens. I eat 35 grams of fiber daily. It works. Fiber is great, especially if you're wanting to get full. I also like soup. Soup tends to be low calorie. I'll make me a big old pot of soup and the whole thing will be like this, with the broth and nothing but vegetables, and it might be 200 calories. Like, I will eat this whole pot of soup. It'll be 200 calories and I'll feel extremely full. And plus you're getting a lot of your water that way. You get like the low sodium and then you add lots of herbs and all. I love stuff like that. It is soup season. Woohoo! Gosh, I'd starve if all I ate was McDonald's. Man. Eat a Big Mac a day, skin and eyes might turn yellow. Just might. Beer and chicken wings, though. I'm donating my poop for science. Yay! You ate asparagus and half a chicken breast for breakfast. That sounds great. I had egg whites with just a little bit of cheese. I had onions and peppers and some frozen spinach that I had sauteed together. Tossed that in there. Had turkey sausage, like one little turkey sausage patty I broke up, put it in little pieces, put it in there, cooked it all up together, and had some low carb toast. It was like 70 calories for the toast with some sugar-free jelly on it. Yeah, it was so good. It was so good, and now I'm still drinking coffee with my sugar-free creamer in it. What is a good protein diet and low on bad fats? I like, so for Steve asked me that on Periscope, I avoid red meat. I eat turkey, chicken, ground turkey, ground chicken. I eat lots of fish, light fish like tilapia. I also like shrimp. Sometimes I'll eat salmon because salmon has really good omega-3s in it. So I try to focus on more of the lean meats. Any oils I use is in moderation, and it tends to be like olive oil. I like peanut butter, but I use something called PB2. It's like powdered peanut butter. You mix it with a little bit of water, but it's very flavorful. So sometimes I'll get some frozen yogurt. Here's a life hack. Low sugar frozen yogurt. If you're craving some ice cream or something and you get you some frozen yogurt, you put a little bit of that PB2 powder on there and you can mix it up. If it's like a chocolate one, then it tastes like Reese's. It's chocolate and peanut butter together. Another pro tip. I like chocolate covered strawberries. So I'll get cocoa powder. I'll wash some strawberries and I'll get some cocoa powder, sprinkle it on the outside of it, and then I'll put a little bit of Splenda on there. There is some, now be careful, there is some research saying that too much of artificial sweetener can alter your gut bacteria. So if you're worried about that, grab you a probiotic and it'll be all right. Put a little Splenda on the outside with the cocoa powder, mix it up together, then get you some sugar-free or, sugar-free whipped cream and squirt it on the top. It is absolutely delicious. It is yummy, 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 yummy. Oatmeal out of the ground. I want to have breakfast with Mel. Eat brains for protein. Liver and onions. I don't eat like organ meats. It makes me weird. I don't like it. Beans. Yep. Oh goodness, yeah. I love soup. I can eat soup all day. I went to a Mexican restaurant last night for dinner. I asked for their tortilla soup. Because tortilla soup is mostly just chicken broth, shredded chicken, and vegetables in there. The bowl, it was like the same size that they put the tortilla chips in. And I'm like, this bowl could fit my whole face in it and like half of my head. And so I ate half. I don't even think I ate half of it. And also I had avocado in there. I love avocado. Really good fats in that. And so I had some what they call guacamole casero. It's like chopped up avocado with cilantro and onions, and I like that better than like the mixed up store-bought guacamole. I like making it fresh. And so it was there, and so I just put the leftover in the bowl. So I'm going to add some more broth to that later, mix it up, have a new pot of soup, That's going to be great. Eat brains for protein. Not me, man. That Indiana Jones scene. No way. I'll go get Taco Bell or eating an edible. Oh my goodness. Beans are really good. I like beans. I like black beans. I'll make black bean chili. It has fewer carbs than other types of beans. So I'll do that. Yeah, if you have really bad food around, it's really easy to eat that. I try, if I'm hankering for some chocolate or something like that, or I'll try to have like granola bars or like cereal bars that are high protein with a little chocolate in there, so I feel like I'm eating a cookie. But I do like little savory things like white cheddar rice cakes, and I'll get... They make like these little baked cheddar squares that are different flavors, and they're very, very flavorful. And so if you feel like you have to have something, you can just count it out and put it in a thing, and that works for me. You put your PB2 in your oatmeal. Isn't it great? You put that in there and you stir it up. Sometimes I like to put in just a few little like sliced almonds to give me a little bit of a crunch. A little bit of sliced almonds in there with some PB2 powder. It's actually quite good. Yummy, yummy. Oh, yeah. You made ice cream with whipping cream, Jell-O, and fresh strawberries. That sounds good. I didn't mean to make you hungry. I'm actually getting hungry, too, but it's almost lunchtime here. Okay. So let me go back into, I want to talk a bit about a study. There was a study done. And be careful about studies like this. Again, exercise helps, but only if you seriously monitor your calorie intake. Just because you burned 800 calories doing a workout doesn't mean you should go and eat 800 calories. There was a study done that showed that women or men or something, they had taken some people and they put them on the treadmill and they told them don't change what you eat. And they somehow managed to increase the amount of fat, but they got more fit. Here's my question. Did they actually monitor what these people ate? And so it's just like, they're like, they managed to gain more fat. Well, if you've ever done an 800 calorie workout, you're starving at the end, and you want to eat all the things. One thing that I've liked to do while trying to stop that is I have a snack before I work out. Might eat a little something in the middle if I'm getting dizzy, just a little small thing. But I always eat a snack before I work out so I have energy to do it. And I say this as I used to work out regularly, but not so much now, which is a real problem. So I'm trying to hold myself accountable here, guys. I'm going to start exercising more. I got my really nice Fitbit watch, and it finally got fixed. So I'm going to hold myself accountable. We're going to have to, I'm trying to do, and they're my goals. So I'm gonna hit my goals, do my better nutrition goals and better exercise goals. Try to be a positive force. Gonna go get it and call it my superhero workout. I'm superhero training. It's not exercise, it's superhero training. So, but here's the thing about that study. Do they truly monitor what these people ate? Because I know after I work out, I want to eat like an entire buffet of whatever's there. It doesn't matter. So it's like, you got to be careful with these studies. So essentially what it comes down to, if you build muscle, you're going to increase your metabolism. So that's one way you can counter, like, I had a slow metabolism. Build some muscle. If you're actively, for me, my body wants to build stuff. So I can either build fat or I can build muscle. So that has always been the plight of me. My body will either build fat or it'll build muscle. And it's been building fat lately. You know, it has. So I need to go, okay, you want to build stuff. Let's do muscle now. And I can build muscle and it'll work. But it's just, so you got to do that. So you really need to know your body. Artificial sweetener affecting gut bacteria. Yeah, now it's not the artificial sweetener thing, Lizzie. And they were giving rats and mice copious amounts of it, like larger than what a human would normally take. So take that into consideration. I have Splenda. I focus mostly on Splenda because it is just an isomer of sugar. It's the same chemical formula as sugar. It's just a different shape and it has a chlorine added to it. That's it. It's literally made from sugar. And you don't need a whole lot of it to sweeten it. You need considerably less sweet Splenda to sweeten something than you do actual sugar. So I use that. It's called sucralose. That's its chemical formula name. You can try that. You can give that a go. But that's what I tend to stick with because a lot of the other stuff are linked to really awful, awful things. The one that like NutraSweet, phenylalanine has a lot of that amino acid in it, and there are some links to that being deposited in your brain. If you don't process all of it, some of it can be deposited in your brain, and there are some links to Alzheimer's, and that runs in my family. Knowledge is power. So you got to kind of go with that. You like fermented foods. Gotta love pickles. I can eat pickles and pepperoncini all day. Hummus is good. I do like hummus. And I know how to make black-eyed pea hummus. Maybe I should do like ScientistMel's weekly recipe. Weekly recipe on things that are yummy and good. Sometimes I do that on Sundays. I'll post like pictures of what I'm doing and cooking and stuff. Hummus is great. White and black bean turkey chili. Yummy, yummy, yummy. That's good. Carrots roast with chuck roast and shrooms. Yum. Avocado is fantastic. I love it. Tribino, is that still a thing? I don't get horrible gas over the beans. Sometimes I do. If fiber makes you fart, you're not getting enough. Ha ha ha. Oh my goodness. Savory refers to meaty tastes. Well, I think cheesy tastes are kind of savory too. Chair Zumba Mel. Yeah, that's right. You're going to move around. Shake it up, guys. Maybe we have a dance party in our chairs next time. ScientistMel sings the hits while we dance. Woohoo. I need to work out more. I really do. And I just got a membership to the local Y. And I got this watch because I want to start swimming again. And so I want to shake up my exercise, and I just have to sit down and plan it. Planning is key. Just plan. And good luck, Bunny. I do hope you get your goal too. So I'm going through and catching up on everything. Let's see. Just having a Chick-fil-A right now. Oh my goodness. I have a lot of muscle for a woman. Pow. Mrs. Snarky has a lot of pow to the punch, man. Some weight-bearing exercise to strengthen bones. Yes. Yes. Weight-bearing, osteoporosis is a thing. You're right. You have 3 acres to upkeep. Well, I hope you knock it out of the park, Bunny. You use sucralose too, Lizzie. That's great. Oh, well, I don't know. Artificial sweeteners don't always cause you to gain weight. I don't think so. Sometimes they can make you drop if you take in a lot of it, it can make your body think you're getting sugar and you're not, and it can lower, it can cause you to feel like you have low blood sugar and then you want to eat more. There is a thing to that, so that's true. I don't eat at Chick-fil-A either. GI has gas no matter what. GI is short for gastrointestinal, godless Iowan. And Godless Iowan is also a patron, so thank you for your support. So I'm going to say hello there. Bo, Lizzie, Bunny. I think I'm caught up. On all the messages here. Yay! So I'm going to kind of wrap up a bit on this, because we went over time, guys. That's all right. So what I've talked about, low carb, low fat, weight loss. We talked about genetics. We talked about metabolism. We talked about how flawed the studies are. And science is like, yes, it causes problems. No, it doesn't cause problems. Yes, it causes problems. No, it doesn't cause problems. It's just so much back and forth. It's just absolutely, you can't trust all of it. So the key takeaways, know your body. Know your family history. Talk to your doctors. Your doctors, make certain they're supportive and not fat shaming types. Fat shaming types are not going to be useful at all. And only lose weight if you need to. I mean, if it's something that you feel like you personally want to do, don't do it because of society or anybody else. If you want to do something, then it needs to be your decision, not anybody else's. So that's how I see that. You can be healthy and be overweight or obese, and there's nothing wrong. It's your body, your rules. That's how that goes. As long as you know, and I just only ask that people be informed and take care of themselves. You're going to take care of yourself better than anybody else. We got introduced to ScientistMel. Yay! I'm so glad you guys are here. Oh, gosh. You're thinking you can use the muscle burn more. Okay, so I'll say this, Mrs. Snarky. If you can afford at least just one session with a personal trainer to go through with you and help you get the movements that you can do to where you don't injure yourself, that would be something that you could do to kind of help benefit you to where you can learn a bit how your body moves and what you can do to compensate, to prevent yourself from injuring yourself. If you can put money aside just for at least 1 or 2 sessions, and they're not cheap. They're really not. Some insurance companies might actually have a reimbursement program. I don't know if you're with that. Some actually do have some coaching and something association with that, to where you can go and get some one-on-one with a personal trainer to say, okay, well, this is the plan we're going to do, and then just follow that plan for a little while, and then go and meet with them a couple months down the road and see what you can do with that. A good exercise program, if you're part of a gym, if you're able to do these workouts, like the cardio workouts, a good exercise instructor will tell you how to modify your movements to reduce injury, especially if you're injury prone. So that's another thing that you can do to help with that. So I have an old knee injury, and my ankles tend to be pretty awful. So I have to wear, sometimes when I haven't been exercising for a while, I have to wear braces on my ankles and my knees, or at least my left knee, not my right knee, but my left knee. And I have to wear braces on my ankles sometimes because I've had horrible injuries on my ankles, and I've had an old ACL tear. And sometimes I just am like, okay, I'll go to a personal trainer and be like, okay, help me out here. what do you think I can do? This is what I've done in the past. I want to change it up because my body's used to this. I want to do something completely different and just throw it into a new thing. So that's a good way to do that. So I like lifting weights too. I like swimming. I like the row machine. The row machine's great. Oh, you saw Hannah was during this getting on something ScientistMel saying she shook it off masterfully. Did somebody say something to me that was crazy? That's, just another day of being a woman on the internet. Bad knees, bad shoulder, weak ankles. Honestly, if you can fork over cash, also if you have bad knees, wear braces, wear ankle braces. Not a thing wrong with that. And it'll at least provide you support. The physical therapy that I underwent for my bad knee, they strongly encourage building the muscle groups around the joints. And so until you build up those muscle groups, wear those braces to give you extra support while you're building up those muscle groups around your knees and around your ankles. Because once those get stronger, you won't need the braces so much, if at all. But wear them at first. There's no shame in that. I'm going to have to pull mine out if I start running again, because I know if I start running again, my ankles will be like, what are you doing? We haven't run in like a year. What is wrong with you? Stretching helps too. Yes. Stretching during a workout as well. After you warm up, stretch. Immediately stretch. Then keep going. Then stretch again. Then keep going and stretch again. Stretch throughout. I don't like them either, but they're necessary in order to build up the muscle groups around your joints to help them be, successful. Walking does help. Arnie says you have to confuse your muscles. You got to shake up your routine, because if you do the same thing over and over again, you develop muscle memory. Dancers rely on their muscles remembering how to move certain ways. Muscle memory is a thing. So if your muscles are used to doing certain movements, they're going to learn how to be very efficient at doing those movements. And after a while, you're just going to plateau forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. So it's important to mix up your training. You just bought Avengers Infinity War by accident. So, Mrs. Snarky, let's do superhero training. We need to don't call exercise. I gotta go. We are superhero training, girl. We are superhero training. I have a treadmill, and it sits there. It's right there in my living room, and it's right in front of the TV. And honestly, I was trying to train for a marathon before a lot of horrible things hit me all at once in my life, which caused me to be in a slump for about 2 years. I haven't been actively exercising for like the past 2 years, not like I used to. And I know that that's had a negative effect on me. And I have a treadmill right over there. I would play Iron Man and just, I'd walk and jog, walk and jog, walk and jog. Alternate between the two, up and down. Worked out, it's just like I would do that, pop in a movie, and that's what I would do. I would just watch a movie. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to run during this fight scene with Tony Stark, and play Wonder Woman and be like, oh, here we go. I'm going to run at this part because Wonder Woman's running, so I'm going to run too. And I was like, it's superhero training. That's what I got to call it, And I have a good treadmill. I got it for Christmas a couple years ago, and then around that time, a lot of horrible things hit me in my life, and I just was in a slump, and it was really hard to come out of that. So I'm finally out of it, though. Now it's time to hit the treadmill, man. It's right there. I could totally use it. I could do it right now. Yes, man. But it's right there. So tomorrow, I'm going to sit down and make a plan for me. So that'll work. That's okay. I'm so glad you guys have been here with me doing this. I guess I have to end my show soon. I don't want to. So I'm going to thank all my super awesome patrons. I have got Tony, James, Lauren, Jen, Carl, Melanie, Patrick, Daniel, Stephen, Paula, Tim, Carrie, Cersei, Keith, Duke, James, Andy, Zachary, Tony, Bo. Bo is a patron who helps me out all the time. Thank you, Bo, for being a patron. He was here. Didn't give him a shout out like I did Andy Gallus Iowan. So Bo is patron. Thank you. Stephen was here before. Stephen Bauman. Shout out to him. Thank you. Sarah, Chris, Graham, Dragnot, Gallus Iowan, Jennifer, Corey, and Richard. Thank you so much for being here. I'm usually in the hole every month because I have like costs associated with this show, believe it or not. Technology as well as my website. I've been contacted by a guy in the UK, to help with writing a children's book for science. So there's that's happening. I was in a talk earlier this week. I went to a school district and gave a talk to some teachers about how to implement making short videos in their classroom, 1-minute videos, and how they can use that as an assignment or a project as well for their students. And so I'm able to do things like that. I'm hoping this summer that I can go on tour. Wouldn't that be cool? I could come to your town and we could have like a talk about stuff. We could talk about different things that you want. You don't like redheads. But that's okay. You don't have to like redheads. You can like me. That's great. Where can you find me? I am everywhere on the internet. ScientistMel.com is my website. I have articles there, resources for this particular show. My audio podcast is on hiatus right now. I'm trying the best I can. I'm doing 9 million things. I really need a handler. Does anybody want to be my handler or a scheduler or somebody in charge of stuff like that? I forgot to pay my internet one day. I need a handler. I'm also on Periscope, YouTube. If you haven't liked or subscribed or shared my videos, please do so. I still don't have monetization on YouTube, but I have almost 2,000 subscribers. So please have a ScientistMel marathon on your particular TV or your computer at home. Teachers use my resources. So I'm going to show you all of the different sources that I did just for this broadcast. I went through and I checked out so much stuff. All of my website, all of this stuff is available on ScientistMel.com, and you can check me out there. All of my stuff is there for people to use for free, and I don't charge for anything that I do. And I'm very grateful to the people who can fork out $1, $5, $10, $20 a month just to help me keep my lights on and keep doing what I'm doing. And I'll continue to grow and develop. I'm trying to consider going back to like filming things because I have a background in film, and start editing other videos and see if I can't start incorporating that in as well. But there's just one of me. So, I have to have so much I got to do. And I have a day job. So anybody who wants to help, feel free. I rely heavily on the kindness of others, and I thank you for that. I'm so glad you guys are here. Thank you, Mrs. Snarky. You guys mean the world to me. And Neil's here. I believe I think Neil started. Did Neil start? I didn't add Neil yet. Who have I not added that just started being a patron? I'm going to fix that. I didn't get to give them a shout out, I don't think. So let me go through. Neil. Thank you, Neil, for being a patron on my Patreon account. I need to update my slides. So Neil started becoming a patron. Everything helps me out in all of that, and I appreciate that. So I need to add Neil to my list. So thank you for being there for me and contributing to my work. And my patrons get first choice on what I talk about. I throw theirs in automatically in the poll. So whatever you do, and don't forget to give me ideas and what you want to learn, because this is about helping you guys learn things, because I want to be here for you and teach you the things that you want to learn about science. It's my jam. So I'm going to go because it's 11:20. This has been a heck of a talk. This has been absolutely lovely. I do need to reach level for Super Chat, so I need you guys to give me my viewing hours. You want to pay for the plane ticket over the pond? I'll raise money. You can come and hang out with me, Bo. We'll raise money. I know you would, Jen, and that's okay. I know, but you can help me out. If you can't afford to be a patron, just get my work out there. Share it with other people. Share it with other people. So, I'm doing a great job with what I'm doing at the moment. Thank you. Yay, Clifford. You'll be my manager. Well, sweet, Heat Shell. Let's talk. So that counts. You give money to G High and it gives money to me, so that counts. I appreciate that. Yes. So if you can't contribute to me monetarily, that's okay. I also have a PayPal. PayPal.me/ScientistMel if you just want to do a one-time donation. I've had people do that too, and that's awesome, and that helps me. And sometimes I do actually pay for advertising campaigns on Facebook just to promote science content. I also do that on Twitter, and they promote all of my different tweets for a flat fee per month, and that pretty much takes up almost all of my Patreon funds is that. So I say I'm in the hole, so I do pay for advertising to boost scientific literacy. That is a thing that I do. And so some people find that weird on Twitter. They're like, why is this a promoted tweet? Well, you're welcome. You're learning something, and sometimes it's a funny joke, and sometimes it's watch this video and learn something. So I do that. I do that from time to time on Twitter as well. So I'm so glad you guys are here, and it was awesome being here with you. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. And we have talked about the science of keto, nutrition, diets, all of the things like that. It's just, you do you, and become very aware of your own body. You're going to know your needs better than anybody else. And if you need any help, hit me up on twitter.com. I'm ScientistMel. Go to my website, ScientistMel.com, or ask me a question in the comments here on YouTube, and I'll be happy to help you. So I will see you next Saturday, and look for my show soon with Katie from Pathos on This Week in BS, Bad Science. And then on Sundays, I think I'm going to start doing a show called Science Sunday School, where we'll briefly talk about the latest and greatest in scientific findings. So have a fantastic day, and thank you for being here. Sending squishy science hugs. Gonna see if I can start doing some superhero training. Bye.